got everything sealed. There was a new bumper and a new fender, so I sealed those. So now I'm going to be doing base coat. Bring y'all over here by the door where we repaired it at. We had to repair the front door. We'll lower this a little bit. Okay, I'll be right back. Let me get my nail so I can dry this off a little quicker. This front door, all I'm doing, I'm just blending the front door. So I'm going to stay away over here from the back door and the front door. I'm going to stay away from that area so that way it all matches. How's everybody's day going? And thank you to everyone who's been subscribing. I appreciate that. Paint code on this one is A5G. if anyone is interested in the color code on it. It's like a green metallic, pretty much is what this is. It's green with white pearl put inside of it. I gotta get this one painted today, and then I gotta work on a new Ford Bronco. It's that blue color. It's actually a tri-coat. It's a blue base with a pearl put on top of it, so they call it a tri-coat. But yeah, you stay away from your next panel, so that way the factory color still matches, like this back door and the front door. That way those two will still match. If you paint the whole panel, it won't match the next one. Because every color has a variant to it. It could be one variant to that color, or it could be 20 variants to that one color. So you always get the closest one and you blend that. Every once in a while you have to tint it to make it match better. Since it's a little bit colder right now, I'm probably going to give it about 15 minutes between each coat. Give it a good flash time before I put on my next coat. You don't want to stack it or else you run into problems. You'll see like a dieback in the color. So you clear it, it looks good and everything, and then you give it a couple days, and the clear looks dyed back, it's not so shiny. One of those reasons is because you're not giving it enough flash time. Yeah, I got the new fender and the new bumper up there. It'll sit on this side, the driver's side, it'll sit. And so they had to get a new fender and a new front bumper for it. And then we repaired the front door, about right here. We had to repair it. Remember, if anyone's got any questions or anything, just ask. I'll try to answer them the best I can. I'll bring y'all over here. I gotta dry off that front fender and bumper. Using a slow reducer on this one, even though it's a little bit cooler in the paint booth. But I'm doing that just that way the base coat, it lays down real nice. It takes a little bit longer to dry, but it still lays out good. So I don't mind giving it an extra 5 minutes or so in between coats. Is using air to help dry it a little bit quicker. The more airflow you have, the quicker it'll dry. going. Off that door over there to get any overspray off of it. Always try to tack it off because you don't want to put paint over it again. You'll start stacking the overspray up and it'll look rough, or it can get a halo. So sometimes that's why you see a car, it got like a little halo in one of the panels. It's either because of the blend wasn't right or because you weren't tacking it off and all the overspray kept landing in the same spot, and so it looks grainy right there and it'll give it that halo. Alright, this should be pretty dry, so I'm going to go ahead and put on my paint mask and do another coat real quick. Spraying this one at 18 psi. Your psi actually makes a difference in the color. So lower pressures most of the time will make the color darker. Your higher pressure will lighten it up a little bit. So you can also do that and it'll make a difference. Can y'all see that door okay right there? Here we go. I'll lower it a little bit. There we go. This right here, I gotta blend out the front door and the hood a little bit too, so hopefully y'all can see that. I'll do the same thing. I'll let that dry for about 15 minutes. It's cooler at the paint booth. It's 75 in here, so it'll dry. But I don't want to rush it or anything, so I'm going to give it about 15 minutes, let it dry, and then I'll do the last coat. What I'm going to actually do real quick is I'm going to go get my sunlight, and then I'll come in here and make sure it's getting covered. Right now it should be pretty much covered, so I'll be right back. All I'm doing right now, I'm just checking for coverage. I want to make sure it's covered before I do my last and final coat. I'll try to show y'all real quick. I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up, but it's a green with a white pearl in it. So let me show y'all real quick. I gotta turn this around. Okay, yeah, see? It's green with that white pearl in it. So pretty much it'll look like that whenever I clear it. All right, let me get y'all back on the stand real quick. Alright, I'm gonna turn the paint booth lights back on real quick. Whenever I'm done with it, I'll show y'all exactly what it looks like. Pretty neat little color, it ain't too bad. I got one more final coat for the base coat. I'm not gonna put it on as heavy. I know I got my coverage now. So I'll just be doing that. So that way the metallics will lay out right. I don't have to put it on heavy now or anything like that. So I'll do one final coat of base, let it dry, and then start clearing it. this is waterborne. Waterborne dries a little bit quicker, I think, than solvent, in my opinion. This one right here, this is a solvent base. Water though, as long as you got good airflow on it, it dries pretty quick. You just got to make sure to get all the water out of it. I didn't get to show y'all the red square body we're working on. I painted the doors and fenders inside and out. I did that I think 2 weeks ago. I was gonna do it live so y'all could see it, but I forgot to record it. I was so busy and just trying to get it done. I think it was on a Sunday that I painted it, and I forgot to record it. Thanks again to everyone who's been subscribing. I really appreciate that. That way, hopefully it helps if anyone's ever wanting to get into the collision industry, you know a little bit about it. I just want to stay away from the back of the front door. I want to stay away from that, so that way this area and the rear door is still matching. Same thing with the hood. I'm just using that line on the hood. I'm kind of using that as a reference to blend it out right there. And then the rest of the hood, I'm not doing anything with that. I'm just going to clear it. That way the hood will match the other fender on the other side. A lot of people think that whatever color your car is, it's just that one color. But there's a lot of variants to most cars. Just like that Chevy white. It's on like Silverados and GMCs, all that. I think in our system there's probably about 14 or 15 alternates to that one color white. Alright, I'll be right back. Give me 10 seconds. Wanting to do that like at their house or the garage, one of the most important parts is prep. Just make sure you sand everything really good. If you're painting a whole vehicle and you're going to prime it, then you can use 400. If you're going to base over it, I would suggest to do like 600 at the final set. Base coat, you can shoot base coat over 600 grit and it's fine. 400 grit is kind of iffy because sometimes you'll see the sand scratches in it. So I just suggest do 600. Make sure you sand all your edges really well with like a Scotch-Brite. Prep is always one of the most important parts of painting a vehicle. You don't want no shiny spots or anything like that, or else it won't stick to it. It'll stick to it at first, but then later on, the clear coat and base will lift off of it. To prep it really well. still get a good paint job out of like a garage or anything like that. It's most important, just make sure you're doing a good prep job on it. Take your time, make sure you're letting your base coat flash in between coats. Make sure it's dry. You can run your hand across wherever your tape is. Don't run it across the panel. But your paper or anything like that, just run your hand across it. As long as it's dry, you can go ahead and do another coat on there. Okay, I'll be right back real quick. Another important thing is don't ever have your hands on the panels and rubbing them if you don't have gloves on, because you're getting the oil from your hands and putting it onto the panel. You don't want that. It'll cause problems later on down the road. So if you're touching the panel, just always make sure to have gloves on. Okay. This one right here, I'm not going to put this coat on, it's heavy. It's covered, so now I just want the metallics and pearls to lay down nice. If you put it on heavy, you can cause it to look like it's streaking in there. You don't want that. Bring y'all over here where that door is, that way y'all can see. Do my final step on this door here. What I like to do is whenever I'm blending them out, I like to do what they call a staircase or a V. I go the furthest out this way, and then a little bit in more each time. Right here, and then go back out a little bit. If you just do a straight line down the middle of the door, then you'll see exactly where you painted at whenever you clear it. So it'll be two different colors almost. So I always like to do like a staircase or a V, or even a half moon is what they call it, because the eye is harder to see a curved line compared to a straight line whenever you're painting. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry. I gotta go clean out my paint gun, and then I'll be right back. I just want to make sure my metallic's laid out nice. Last thing you want to do is have to redo it. So I just want to check that, make sure everything looks good. And also remember, whenever you're painting, whenever you have a panel off of the car, like I got that new fender over there, paint it the exact same way that you're painting your next panel, so that way you know it's going to match. If I was to put the paint on heavier on that fender compared to this door, then it ain't gonna match. So just make sure you do it the exact same way and you'll be fine. Oh yeah, and that, if anyone didn't get to see it live, that F-150 I painted, that bedside, we had to repair it, and I had to paint the bottom where the bumper goes, and then also up to around the taillight area. I made a video on that if anyone's wanting to see it. And that was like a gray color. It's a pretty neat color, really. All I'm doing right here, I'm just getting the overspray off of the panel before I clear it. Whenever you're tacking it off, what you're doing is you're getting any of the overspray off of your panel, and also any little kind of fibers that landed on your panel. You're taking that off so that way there's not so much trash in your paint job. Start doing the first coat of clear on it, and then I'll let that dry and do the final one. coat. I'm spraying it around 28 PSI. This is a Seda, and so it uses more of a high PSI than some of the other guns, other paint guns. Bring y'all around to the front, that way y'all can see the hood. Bring y'all over here, get y'all out of the hover spray. Put y'all about right here. Okay, that was the first coat of clear right there, so I'm gonna give it about 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'll do my second coat of clear. On this door right here, I didn't put it on real heavy on that door. There's so many lines that it can run off of. I just put it on there kind of normal. I didn't want to do heavy. I want this to be able to tack up nice, and then I'll do a nice normal coat on there. That way it'll flow out better. But if you go and try putting it on heavy on your first coat on a door like this, you'll get runs all in it. Okay, I'll make some more clear while this is drying, and then I'll be right back in here. don't ever dry the clear coat with the air. I just naturally let it dry. Whenever it's about 70, 75 degrees, normally I give anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes, something like that. But you don't want to try to force dry it with air. I'm just checking it with the sunlight to make sure all the metallics turned out nice. So far it's good. I like how it looks. Hey, give me just a second and I'll show y'all. This is just the first coat of clear, so you gotta hang in there with me. Okay. So far, that's what it's looking like. Same with the hood. Everything's looking good. I'm gonna get y'all back up here real quick. There you go. I've got a few more minutes and then I can do the last coat of clear. And then after that I gotta start working on a new Ford Bronco. I gotta paint the fender, door, and I believe a front bumper for it. I think there's a new front bumper. So I gotta paint that as well. Now I'm going to move y'all over here. That way y'all can see whenever I'm painting it. There you go. Alright. Yeah, here in about 30 seconds I'll be able to start doing that last coat of clear. I'll shoot that bumper first, and then come over here and shoot the fender, and then I'll do the door and the hood. Always try to do the hood last because that's what everybody looks at. So you don't want a lot of overspray landing on your hood. Go ahead and start clearing. This will be the last coat of clear right here. try to do my edges first, so that way I don't forget them. Now I'm going to do that door and the hood. You want to see okay like that? Okay. It's all done, so I'm going to give that about 10 minutes, and then I'll start baking it so that way it can dry. I'll show y'all what it looks like real quick. Let me flip it around. Okay, the fender. That was the new fender right here. And then the new front bumper. And the hood, we just had to blend out the hood. And then that door. Let me turn it this way, you can see a little bit better. But yeah, you see, you stay away from the back part of the front door, so that way it matches this rear door right here. All right, everybody, I'm gonna clean out my paint gun. And then I gotta, let me see, after that I'll go to lunch, and then after that I gotta start working on that Ford Bronco. But everyone, y'all have a good day. Thank you to everyone who's been subscribing. I really appreciate it. And I'll try to be on tomorrow. So thank you. And y'all have a good rest of y'all's day.